Yo, JM. Welcome to another episode of the Fit 2 series. Today we'll be talking about what it means to be fit to communicate. And coming to be our guest today is none other than a media specialist, a marketing specialist, a specialist of all specialists, Dwain Wallace. Welcome, Dwain Wallace.
Good morning, Jay. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. How you
Boy,
doing?
you pulled me out of bed early this morning, boy. You must be special.
Well, that's what the ladies say, but that's neither here nor there.
Careful now, careful. Watch me get in trouble.
Yeah. We in this together, my brother. So, Dwain, man, thank you for joining us here today, man.
Sure, man.
Before we get started, tell us and the audience a little about your fitness journey.
Well, I got into fitness actually way back in high school. Track and field, if you believe it or not, used to be my love. And I did pretty well back in those days. We didn't have as many opportunities with sports combined with education back then as we do now. I'm sure that based on what I see happening now, I would have been sure to get a scholarship, right? All you have to do is be disciplined and have the right desire.
Correct.
And the right institution will take you the rest of the way. Well, a lot has changed since then, both in the sports arena, but also in as it relates to my age, you know. And so I had to try and get into a sport that was non-impact on the joints. And so when I spoke with my doctor, he said, "Well, Wallace, you need to try something like swimming or cycling because you're not jarring your joints as much and all the time. You know, that wear and tear over a period of time could be, you feel it as you get older."
Yeah.
And so,
I know what you're saying, brother.
and so I hooked up with Maria Campbell. Hey, Maria, at Cycles Unlimited.
Yeah.
Got my first 3 bikes from her. And
Addictive sport, isn't it?
man, amazing. And we did the rides, and now, you know, a few years later now, life is set in. And so I can't ride the group as much as I'd like to, but that's where it all began. And I'm really thankful to them for keeping me encouraged and engaged. I still get all the messages. I'm in the group. You're in the group?
Yeah.
Yeah. So big shouts out to Club Enjoy. John Cox, good morning.
Yo, big up. All right, since we get that out the way.
Yeah.
Oh, man, speaking about, since you're on your 3rd bike,
Yeah.
may I ask how much this bike costs? I know this bike probably costs as much as a note. What's going on?
Well,
Can you divulge that, or are you keeping this live from the wife to say you only paid $400 for it?
I have a way of answering that question.
Go ahead.
If you're into this, right? If you're into this, like you take, for instance, you're a fashion connoisseur, right?
Never heard that before, but go ahead.
Yeah, when I see you at the place where we frequent, right? And I see you walking, I say, man,
I don't know what you're talking about.
these dudes, they stay doing this type of thing, man. Even when I see you in the virtual place where we meet, right? I say, these dudes. I mean, you can't see what's happening below the waist, and sometimes I think it might be something else down there. But my point is that you can't be into that and only have one.
Right.
Yeah.
You can't be into that.
You can't be into
and
that
only
and
have one.
Whatever it is you into,
You gotta have more than one.
you gotta have more than one. Because you depending on what's happening, you have to switch things up. I
don't know what he's talking about.
I think we need to change the subject now. Let's go someplace.
Yes.
Let's go in another direction. I feel you about to get me in trouble.
You're all me. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. So tell us about what it means to you to be fit to communicate.
Well, I think, see, I know when I say what I'm about to say, I'm preaching to the choir, right? And you understand this, but I think what a lot of people don't understand is the interconnectivity of mind, body, soul, spirit,
Yes.
right? If any one of those are out of whack, the whole thing is out of whack, right? A car could be the fastest car on the planet, but if it got a flat tire, ain't nothing happening, right? A rocket could be the rocket to get you to the moon the quickest. But if one rocket booster isn't working, it ain't going nowhere. Same thing with your body. Your body, your mind, your spirit, your temperament, all those systems within the system have to all be in sync. And that's what gives you the strategic advantage of being on top of your game. I can't afford to not be on top of my game. And in those times when I miss something or I make a mistake, I am my worst critic.
Yes.
I get mad with me.
Yes. Yes.
Huh?
You know the
Yeah,
time.
man. So in order to communicate and in order to be on top of the game, in order to be the guy who is with those guys who are out front, you have to position yourself to have every advantage. And every advantage means your body got to be right.
Yes.
The temple got to be intact.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
And even in the sports of cycling, they say
Absolutely.
the greatest machine is not the bike. The
absolutely.
greatest machine is you.
The greatest
your
machine
body,
is you.
your
So
mind.
you gotta eat right. You gotta sleep. You gotta get exercise. You gotta get the right. You have to rest. You know, to keep everything the way it should be. Yeah,
Oh yeah, man. So I love that because it's all about discipline and consistency.
absolutely.
So tell us about the process of being, because many don't know that you're a playwright.
Okay.
How did you get into that? And what is the process of being a playwright? Because I could write. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I went
yeah.
to school. I know what paragraphs is, what makes up a sentence,
Yeah, yeah.
noun, adjective, verb,
Yeah.
something like that, right?
Yeah.
Subject, predicate.
Yeah.
So what goes into writing plays?
Yeah. Okay, so I'll take you back to where it all began. So, back in the day, everybody's been in the youth group at church. And, you have the little drama club within the youth group. Well, one of the persons that I used to hang out with in the youth group at church way back in the day is my god brother, Jacosi Ujuma. Big shouts out to Hunka Chunk. And he got involved, fast forward, with James Catlin and friends. Well, one year, somebody got sick or something happened. Anyhow, this is a week before Summer Madness was supposed to launch back in 2000. And this person, for whatever reason, couldn't participate in the show. And they needed this one part filled. And he and I, when we fool around and just have conversations, he knew from back then that one of the people that I had a pretty good imitation for was Right Honorables, Hubert Alexander Ingram, who is former Prime Minister of the Bahamas.
This can be the last episode of the show.
So he said, Wallace, man, we need you to come play this part. So I went to the Dundas, he gave me the script in my hand, and the rest is history. So from then, became a member of James Catlin and Friends, Scribes Unlimited, which is headed by Michael Pintard and a few other groups here and there. And so, after a while, you write and then you start to, you're on stage and then you start to develop your own ideas about how you would like to present certain messages, certain concerns in our community. And stage is really a cool way to get those messages across, because it's amazing how people accept a message that could be controversial when you cause them to smile. You're not trying to argue with them. You're causing them to smile, and then it sticks. And so more than anything else, they remember the humor, but in the process, they get the message.
Yes. Well, like communication.
Yeah.
That's why it's fit to communicate.
And it's communication.
Yeah.
But it's an aspect of communication that is a side spoke of the creative arts, the performing arts. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm an artist, to a certain extent. I love music, I love stage, but I employ all of that in my profession, which is marketing, public relations, advertising, media. So, you know, it transfers that if a client of mine needs an ad written, produced, filmed,
Yeah.
and they need a creative aspect of how to do it, then that's what I do.
Because there's one or two commercials out there that I found quite humorous, and it stuck with me. And it took me a while to realize I know that voice. And you know, I was like, wow, this guy is pretty good. Do you care? Can we say what you know? Because see, I can't do it any justice, but I know it's a place that deals with telling time.
Absolutely.
With watchwear, and you know, and you fix it, you break it, you think, you know, I can't imitate you.
We get it right.
You'll get it right, but
We
man,
keep doing it. 40 years we've been doing that over there. Yeah. My parents started that business in my father's study at our house.
wow.
Yeah. And back in those days, he was the financial controller for offshore bank called the Bank of Boston. And he got to the point where he realized, wait, hold on, this thing is doing just as well as this job I slave on from 9 to 5. And so he quit.
Yeah.
Went into that full time. That was 40 years ago. We're in the second generation of it now. And there's some significant changes that have to take place. But I love my parents. Yeah, so they're my rock.
Okay, so
Yeah.
tell us about what's different, what goes into when you're on stage and presenting in a live audience than when you're doing voiceover for commercials. Does it take a different?
In any environment, whether you're on stage, whether you're behind the mic, whether you're behind the camera, in front of the camera, the main thing is you got to be in character. You can't be flat. You know what I mean?
Got to bring it.
You got to bring it. The thing about it is when you're on radio, in order to sound happy, you have to actually smile even though you're not being seen. You can't frown and sound like you're smiling, and you can't smile and sound like you're frowning. You see? So whatever that true emotion is, whatever emotion is connected to the message, is the emotion that must be employed with what is presented.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So, in addition to that, if someone out there wants to get into communication field, in addition of being, you know what, I'm not sure what area to get into. I'm not sure if I want to be behind the scenes, in front of the camera, doing the marketing side of things, the PR side. But I just know I have a feeling that, you know, I won't be in this field of communication.
Right.
I might even have I went to school for mass communication, but
Right.
you know, I don't know where I fit in this country.
Yeah.
How would you direct them? What would you tell them?
Well, it's a huge industry, and there's so many choices, so many directions in which you can go. I'd say the first thing is to find an area of communications or marketing or public relations or media that you love, because in anything that you do, there are going to be days when you don't feel like doing it.
Yes.
Right? So in the first instance, verify that what you're doing, whatever it is you're doing, make sure it's something that you love to do. Make sure it's something that you would do, whether you got paid to do it or not.
Yes.
Because what it means then is you are doing what you're doing because you enjoy it, and it brings you satisfaction. So if money is what you're after, and that's the only thing, and that's the only reason why you're doing it, don't fool with it.
Okay.
That's the reason why I'm not an accountant today. My father's an accountant, and so I have the gift. In fact, when I was in college and university, I tutored accounting.
Okay.
It's given me the advantage of understanding accounting. But I knew from the very beginning, I can't sit down behind the desk and work on them spreadsheets and twinkle them numbers all day. I'm a guy, I gotta be out.
Sound like you could be doing
Yeah. I gotta be out, I gotta be moving. Let me tell the accountant, no, chief, supplement right here. Go over this again. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's gotta be something you love. Now I know full well, I could make much, much more money if I was a CPA or CFA, that type of stuff. But I don't enjoy it.
Right.
When I find myself getting up in the morning in the shower and saying to myself, I just can't do, you all have the beep sound?
No.
So if I say a bad word, didn't
Just say bad word. Just say, this is where I'm going to insert the bad
I
word.
get in the shower in the morning and I say to myself, I can't do this.
Bad word. Right.
Today?
Today.
Time to go.
Time to go.
Time to go.
Happiness.
Yeah. But when I get up and I go in the shower and I say to myself, boy, I gotta have a blast today.
Yeah.
Bang a line.
And that happiness is going to affect everyone you come in contact with.
And it comes across in what you do.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? You can't pay somebody to be happy on the job.
No.
You can't pay them to have the right attitude.
Yeah.
You can't pay them. No amount of money is going to cause a person who is disgruntled or who is unhappy in doing what they're doing to change their attitude, because money ain't going to do it.
Correct.
You got to understand that early.
Yeah.
You find people around my age having drastic changes in their career. And, you know,
Time
the
to be happy.
Yeah, the mind is willing, but the body is weak.
So that's good stuff, man. And you find that we have a common thread with our guests. It's about happiness, following your purpose, and then things will be better, because if you're a happier person, you'll be a better spouse.
Absolutely.
A better father. It's nothing like your wife say, but I want to come home. I know what Dwain or run on today. He up already? Let me play sleep till he leave.
You will be a better at everything you do. Everything you do. Because there's something about happiness. We could go into the chemistry of it. You know. Happiness produces...
Before you continue, right? I'm sweating and I realize you're not sweating. So maybe you need to adjust your resistance. I don't know.
Fan on me, man.
I don't know if your resistance is not the same. So I don't know. You know, if you're being savvy on me, you know, you're doing an old veteran move.
I'm feeling the moisture. Right? You feel it a long time.
Yeah. I come in hot. Oh man.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, happiness and even exercise produces that thing in your brain called that chemical in your brain. Those endorphins.
Yeah.
You see, and those are the things that make you feel happy.
Yes.
So, as much of that as you could get in you, and create that natural high, the better you will be at everything you do. So, trust me, at least some mornings like this morning, I didn't feel like getting up. Plus it was raining.
We know.
Plus it was raining. And this is one of them mornings, one of the few mornings I get to stay in bed a little late. You know, most mornings I got to be in the chair by 6 a.m. Big shouts out to Tony Williams and Greg Lampkin.
Yeah, man.
Co-host on the Good Morning This Morning show.
Good morning this morning.
Good morning this morning. And that's where we do it.
All right. You told us a lot about you so far. What you do. Tell the guests something that many people do not know about you. We can't talk about the other stuff you do in the cycling group, but PG show, tell the guests something that many people that do not know about you.
My alter ego is a bad Harley Davidson rider. Me and my god sister's husband, Valentino Hanna, he's a general manager at Salt Petroleum. If you see two good-looking fellas from out east tearing up the roads on a Sunday.
I don't ride on Sunday anymore. What you talking about?
One on a black Harley and one on a red big dog. That's me and Val. Good morning, Val. How you doing? The secret's out, buddy. Yeah. I need to take the bike by Maria to get the front brake sorted out. But other than that, yeah, every once in a while you gotta turn that throttle. But that's what a lot of people don't know.
Okay, but even with that, you said you got to take your bike to get the front brake sorted out.
Yeah.
In life, because it seems like you're involved in a lot of things.
I am.
How important is this?
Too much, I believe.
How important is this from time to time to just pump the brakes a little? I know we only have one life and time is short and you YOLO and go hard or go home. But how important is it that sometimes you just gotta pump the brakes, step back?
It is very important, because what you find is, if you're the type of person who loves to be involved, and if you're the type of person who likes to take your best to everything or anything you do, you will find that you're in a very limited category. And so what you'll find is, when you carry your best, then the people who are involved with that particular thing are going to want you to come back and bring your best again. Now, let's say you have 6 or 7 or 8 things that you take your best to, just because that's the way you are. Well, you could very well find that you spread out too thin. So you go into this meeting and the next meeting, participating on this committee and the next committee, participating in
Can you pedal a little faster for me,
yeah,
though?
this athletic this athletic club and the next athletic club, and you're getting up early to do your radio show. What time is there that's left for you to put into the people you care about? Because from their perspective, what they begin to see after a period of time is, well, you take your best you everywhere else,
Yeah.
and when you come home, we only get what's left, right? Through the day, you calling everybody else, and when they call you, you all happy and everything. But when we call you, it sounds like you're saying, "Oh shit, that's you again."
Yeah.
You see what I
What
mean?
you want?
Yeah. What you want this time? At a certain point, you got to realize you got to pump the brakes.
Ah,
You're spread out too thin.
okay.
Because I'm telling you, even before COVID and even and now, a lot of my dear friends are transitioning. You know, and when you go to those transition services, otherwise known as funerals, right, or whether you watch them on Zoom, none of that stuff about how you what comes out that's important is how you dealt with the people you love.
Yes.
That's the point. You see what I mean? So write your own eulogy. Decide what you want to be said about you at the end of it all. And that is what you got to put into the narrative now.
Yeah, it's a Maya Angelou quote, and throughout the series,
Yeah.
you'll realize I'm messing up every one quote.
Yeah.
But it goes something that ends with, it basically says, people remember how you made them feel. You know, that's one thing. So
Yeah.
it's good to be, I have a quote on my email says, it's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice.
Yeah.
And I live by that because because people, we are human beings and people have feelings and emotion. It's good. And you never know what people are going through, especially in this COVID environment.
Especially now, eh?
Oh, man.
Wow.
A lot of pressure on people, even though
lot
you
of
might see
pressure.
them smiling.
Yep.
A lot of pressure on people. So it's nice to have that human touch with each interaction you have.
Yeah. They don't have one of those mist bottles.
I see them, Michelle.
No. See, this is the part, where the producers. This is the part where you need the mist bottle, right? To make
No, this is the part where you need to increase your resistance and pedal faster because clearly.
Right now, we're going to take a break and go to our sponsor. While I get that mist bottle.
Question.
Yeah.
Tell us what would be the perfect day for you.
The perfect day?
Perfect day. One day.
Well, the perfect day, first of all, you'd have gotten in bed to get the right amount of rest. And before that, you'd have gotten the right meals throughout that day. And you would have completed all your meals for the day by 6 p.m. So I say that to say the precursor to having a good day is to have a good day before.
Yeah.
Right? You can't have a good day if the day before was all messed up and you didn't plan for that next day, right? So they all kind of work together. They're like Lego, right? So you would have prepped yourself for that day, gotten the right food, gotten the right rest, you gotten the right inspiration, the right spiritual connection. And then you get up around 5:30, right? You get some more inspiration, spirituality, whatever you need to. I find that if you start that day in the spiritual realm, right?
Yeah.
There's something that you will read or encounter that will prepare you for a challenge you're gonna have in that day. You don't know what it is, right? But when it happens, it's gonna click in. You're like, oh, okay, that's what this is about, right? The perfect day also prepares you to be of assistance to somebody, right? It don't necessarily have to be money, you know. It could be advice. It could be a listening ear. It could be just taking some time to give a person a lift,
Yeah.
you know? But to help. The Jews have a thing in their culture where they habitually decide that the first person they meet in any given day especially in their business establishments. The first person they meet in any day, they're gonna do something for them just because it's the first person, right? The key with that is to do something for someone and then think nothing about it.
Yeah.
But what happens is that person goes out and they tell someone else, man, you know that Donovan guy, you know what he did for me today? You know, and then people are like, oh, Donovan. They go on social media and then they see, oh, that's who Donovan is. And then that starts to move. You know our community is real small.
Yes.
You see what I mean? So that's the next thing in the perfect day. And then after that, it's about going through that list of things that you know you needed to do, that list you made the day before, the Lego effect again, where the day before is the precursor to the day of, right? And making sure you get through at least 90% of those things, right? And then by the time you get to the end of the productive part of that day, then you want to look at making the list for the next day and bringing over to that list those things that you didn't get done today. And then every day, you keep on doing that. And then at the end of a month, you go through that list. Do a little inventory. You'll see that if you're consistent, if you keep working at it, if you don't take challenges or hurdles or obstacles, you don't let those things cause you to feel demoralized or cause you to feel like you're not getting anything done, then what you will find is that of the little things that you got done every day, you got a lot done at the end of the month. Yeah. Now, that's where the exercise aspect of this comes in. Because if you don't get exercise, there's a tendency for you to become a little overwhelmed.
Lethargic.
Yeah.
Lack of clarity of thought.
Clarity of thought. You get depressed. You start feeling that none of this SHI is working. Mm-hmm. You know, you feel like you want to just throw the whole thing up in there and be like, man, forget this. So, which is the reason why we go back to how we began the conversation. All those things got to be in sync.
Yeah.
Because if they're not all working together, you set yourself up for failure.
Yes.
So,
failing to plan is planning to fail. So it's good stuff, man. So you
got it.
Basic, the perfect day for you is preparation and execution.
Preparation and execution.
Yes, sir. All right, thank you. Where can we find you? Because we know you do a bunch of things. If I want to promote a product, you know, I just want you to do a next play. So how can someone contact you to get these things done for your media speciality-ism? That's the word?
Yep. Well, all of my media concerns, marketing, media, public relations, advertising concerns originate with the Guardian Media Group. Okay. So you can find me there at Star 106.5 FM. There every day from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. So you just need to call the Guardian and my good friend Janet Lees. She's able to put you in touch with me. After that, I'm basically out on the road and out and about doing my thing. Also work very closely with BTC's R&D Plaza West location. Mm-hmm. So on the electronic communication side of the components required for communication, cell phones, computers, and all the gizmos and gadgets that you use for those things, BTC's R&D Plaza West location is another stop. And then, of course, there's the home base, Sunhouse Washington Club.
Yes.
So among the three of those institutions, you find me most days.
Say no more.
Yeah.
All right, we're coming to the end of the tour of Nassau.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, you took a couple of pit stops along the way.
Tour de Nassau.
Tour de Nassau. Right? So we're coming in. So
man, Donovan, man, you need the 85-inch screen in the box so you can see the road, man.
See the road? Yeah. Just road, man. Just road. Okay. Thank you guys for tuning in. Tune in next week where we're going to have a more compliant a guest who will get me in less trouble in this episode here. So thank you guys for tuning in. Tune in next week and keep it going, man.
Wakanda forever.